down here. We're just getting this thing started. I mean, the weather is beautiful right now. We couldn't ask for a better weather situation than what we have right now. Based off the last week or so that we've been, trapped up in the house. We had to record the last show from inside the Small Sliders hub at New Orleans Talk Network. Seattle was like, oh yeah, that's perfect right there.
Perfect, baby, perfect.
And y'all know I got the coolest host in the city, baby. The man with the plan, the GM himself, CL Nola joining me. Shouts out to CL. And Joel would have been here with us.
Oh, Joel.
But, hey, business call, man. It's the reason we do these Picolo and Ramos realty commercials and all of that good stuff on Inside the Trenches because we want listings and, show people some houses and stuff like that. So
they're getting it done in real time.
You better believe it. So y'all got to, and if you're looking for just restructure your house or, sell it, rent it out, whatever you want to do, y'all know y'all got to holler at my main man, Joel, over at Picolo and Ramos over there off of Soapy Right. I'll get y'all some more information. But right now, we live at Small Sliders, and do we have a show for y'all today? We're going to kick this thing off. It was championship weekend, baby. We're going to recap that. And then there was some crazy coaching hires, and this coaching circuit is getting wild, man. And, hey, what do you know? We down here, we didn't make a hire yet. But we're going to get into a little bit of that as well. And y'all stick around because in our next segment, we'll be joined by Saints Hall of Fame defensive back specialist, baby, Tyrone Hughes, going to sit down and talk a little Saints with us. We're going to go over his wonderful career with the black and gold and his time he spent in the NFL. But CL, let's go ahead and jump right into it. The big storyline, no big secret, right? You got the AFC champions is who they are, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs, and then you on the other end you got the Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen this movie before, right?
Yeah, we have, and congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs as well as the Philadelphia Eagles for punching their ticket to Super Bowl in the great New Orleans, Louisiana. Unfortunately, there's 30 other teams that should be disappointed right about now because this is the ultimate goal, and in a week or so, these guys will play for immortality.
Well, let's recap it. You and I sat on this show last week, should I say the week before last because it was a pre-recording, right. And we talked about how we were looking forward to seeing something new this year. Right. The Super Bowl's in New Orleans. Right. A cool city, but we like, all right, let's see Buffalo and Washington in this thing. This big thing. Go Jaden. We try to get Jaden going. And Jaden tried to get going. I mean, the numbers weren't bad. He was 29 for 48, 255. He was only able to have one touchdown. Right. But CL, you and I know the major issue from that championship game was the ugly turnovers by the Commanders.
The Washington Redskins had won 7 games on the last play this year. They were almost named the Cardiac Commanders to the point that they were always in the game until the end, possibly pulling it off. As the games get bigger, and not too many games are bigger than the NFC Championship Game, turnovers are pivotal. You cannot turn the ball over. You cannot give them short fields, especially the Philadelphia Eagles with Saquon and what that offensive line was doing. You just can't give up that type of field position, and I think that was the mountain hill that ended up collapsing on the Commanders. It
was bad. You had Austin Eckler. He had that fumble. I go back to that moment. Had he just stayed on the ground, go ahead, CL.
And the timing in life, and we speak of this on Inside the Trenches. You're gonna have turnovers inside of a game, but it's not just the turnovers. It's when these turnovers happen, the timing of the turnovers, and like he was mentioning, Eckler, if he just stays down, the ball is still with them, and they're driving down the field.
I think it's a different ball game because before that you had DeMonte Brown, he fumbled, and then after that Jeremy McNichols fumbled. So those three, and the crazy part, Philadelphia capitalized off all of those turnovers. They didn't waste any time. Let's go ahead and talk about the Eagles. Now, here's the crazy thing. T. Hughes, our special guest has just pulled up, Tyrone Hughes. He'll be joining us the next segment to talk a little Saints. But I couldn't go wrong no way with this one. All the teams that were left in the championship weekend, I played for them. So if the Bills would have went, Bills, Washington, I played out in Philly, and then look, see, it's so crazy. I forget who was who from time to time. Kansas City. So, and matter of fact, my longest stint during a regular season was on Kansas City's practice squad. It's crazy. So it's like fly, Eagles, fly, and then the Washington. I was ready for that. The Buffalo was cold out there. I was ready to go get some Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what I'm saying? I was in it for whatever. In Kansas, I loved my time out in Kansas City. Right. Some of the best fans out there at Arrowhead Stadium. But CL 55-23. It got out of hand in the second quarter. In the fourth quarter, Philly outscored them 21-0 in the final. And then the insult to injury was when you put Shipley in, and he runs it down your throat. It was crazy, and I do appreciate. Shouts out to Dan Quinn, my old ball coach, for allowing Tresway to get a snap, get some. He got some snaps in a meaningful game, so he got some cash. Wow. You started down. That game, I was just so – and I didn't expect Jaden just to go out there and just totally annihilate their offense. Their defense. I knew that Philly was going to bring it defensively. I knew Carter was going to make some noise up front. I do understand that this young man that we've been talking about in Quinion Mitchell is a lockdown corner. He shut down Scary Terry, bro.
And to give it on the flip side of it, why do we always try to recreate the wheel? This is the National Football League. The National Football League started off with the run 100 years ago, 75 years ago, 76, 78 years ago. 2025, the running game is still alive. We're always trying to change the wheel. How good is your defense when the offense is playing ball control offense and they're running and they're getting first downs? Because in reality, when you look at Philadelphia, you look at them as Saquon really being a all-purpose back. But you don't realize it's a two-headed monster because Jalen actually runs the football when they need to. So now you have two offensive threats running the ball, and then, one of them can throw it. You also have two number one wide receivers. You think they're not sending coverage over to Brown's side? You think they're not sending coverage over to Slim Reaper side? You realize that the safety is high up on the 15 yards. What side of the ball you think they're going to run it on directionally? So all of that plays into it. And when a mountain hit, and just add on the fact that they were turning the football over, giving them multiple chances to run the football, multiple chances to set them up with the play action. The tight end got a handoff. So there's a game inside the game. Let make a long story short, there's a game inside the game, and the Philadelphia Eagles played it to a T.
And you can play it to a T right now with your party packs. Go ahead and get your pre-order party packs in over here at Small Sliders, 504-372-6644. Use the code word BigFave for special offers. We're going to, next month, we're going to spend a lot of time at the different schools in the area. So we want to encourage a lot of the teachers, if y'all have any teacher conferences coming up, any principals meetings or anything, and y'all need a party pack. Me and Rick talked about that, man. We got to go ahead. You won't be full during lunchtime. And these sandwiches do a great job. Order you a party pack. Super Bowl coming up. We got Mardi Gras. Get your Small Sliders, baby. Yeah. But see, you made a good point about how the Eagles were able to control the clock by utilizing the ground game.
Right.
Saquon Barkley has been phenomenal. Boy, they got to be kicking themselves in the face, butt, stomach, and everywhere else out in New York.
Oh, my God.
And then it's on wax, right? It's on. You can, for y'all can go to YouTube and check the clip out when they were talking about trading Saquon And it's like, I hope this doesn't. And look, he's going to a Super Bowl. This is crazy. 118 on the ground, 15 carries, bro. 3 touchdowns yesterday. Insane.
Whatever today's date is right now, it's rough to be a Saints fan. Even today, whatever today's date is, it's rough to be a Saints fan. It must be suicidal to be a Giants fan right about now. Man, man, physically ill. I mean, physically ill. And physically ill. I'm sure.
You can almost say the same thing for the Chicago Bears because you had Jaden sitting right there. You still go Caleb Williams. I do think Caleb is going to be a good quarterback in this league, but he's like Tom Brady mentions this all the time. It takes longer for those guys to develop.
Same thing.
So it's going to have to be that right, that type of situation for him. And if you look at it, as you mentioned, Buffalo Bills, they have a young wide receiving core. Now, Josh Allen is a veteran in the game right now, but the receiving core is young. They have some young players on defense. They were right there. And
I'll give you another point to look at for the Buffalo Bills. It was the Buffalo Bills that traded with the Kansas City Chiefs one spot before the New Orleans Saints as the Kansas City Chiefs picked Patrick Mahomes. It was the Buffalo Bills that traded this year's pick to the Kansas City Chiefs, and they get the super fast Xavier Worthy in the trade.
Who has some key plays in this game this weekend.
So if you want to blame, I know they like to blame the refs, but if you want to blame the Bills for helping the Chiefs get good and can't get over the hump with them.
Yeah, CL made a good point there. I mean,
the New Orleans Saints would have Patrick Mahomes right now if it wasn't for the Buffalo Bills trading that pick to the Kansas City Chiefs as they picked Patrick Mahomes one spot before the New Orleans Saints. I can't make this up. I just can't. I'm almost speechless after what I just said. You just can't make this type of stuff up. And the parody of the league is nothing disappears. It's almost like putting something on the internet. It will never go away because they'll always reference to the fact that the Bills traded the pick for Patrick Mahomes to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs have been to seven AFC Championships games after that.
And potentially about the three-peat. If y'all are just tuning in to Inside the Church, we're talking about championship weekend, baby. The Chiefs are punching the ticket back in. They did defeat the Buffalo Bills 32-29. I could say the referees played a factor in the game because, I mean, the last play was crazy. I mean, legit, it was a flag, late hit on the quarterback. They just disregarded the flag, and it's like game over. And then, look at the numbers that Josh Allen actually put up. He threw for 237 yards, didn't turn the ball over. It's just that strategically. And then Patrick Mahomes put the ball on the ground. He fumbled.
In football, your coach is liable to tell you, if you think the home cooking is going to make a difference, then make sure the game is not close enough for them to make a difference. And for the life of me, I cannot understand how you ride James Cook all the way to the AFC Championship game, but when you need 1 yard, you give it to Paul Bunyan 3 times on the quarterback sneak that clearly the Kansas City Chiefs has figured out. Clearly the Kansas City Chiefs have seen that play before. So, I don't just put it on the refs. Once you put it on coaching, how about you think about the DBs that didn't look very impressive yesterday? They weren't in the game. As much as we love Hamlin, his story, he was not a good one-on-one cover safety. And then they were smart enough to get him get a safety on their better wide receivers and their players. So, this game could easily be written up as everything you see on Instagram or whatever. But if you look deep inside of what happened, the Buffalo Bills gave that game away to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of just a rushing attack, being able to go out there and Patrick Mahomes punched it in twice, Kareem Hunt punched it in one time. You got the ball to Xavier Worthy. A lot of people question Xavier Worthy. Oh, they could have went and got somebody else. Right. Andy Reid knew exactly who he wanted to go get. And somebody that was, they talked about the kid didn't have any hands. Arguably caught one of the best maybe touchdowns of the playoffs.
Maybe that's why they handed off to him sometimes.
Right, and then that works too. And then, they gave Kansas City, they did win from the skin of their teeth throughout this entire series, right?
The
whole season.
The whole season.
It was 11 games this year that was just like this. It was all about I think the most gruesome one was the Bengals game,
right.
And it started a long list of losing for the Bengals. Let's switch gears a little bit here. I mean, it's been a sort of a coaching carousel the last couple of weeks now. There's still one team that didn't make a hire, and I think we're going to save a little bit of that for our next segment with our next guest. But I was putting together the script last night and this morning, CL, and I was just thinking about, like, all right, who made the best decisions in terms of hiring their coach? A lot of teams made some fires and was looking to make some hires this season. They were strategic, let the season finish. The guy you're going to interview, keep an eye on him, see how he does this season. Well, I was on USA Today, and they ranked their 6 new NFL coaches who were the best hires so far. And y'all feel free to chime in as well. You can hit him up at CL_NOLA. You can hit me up at BigFave504. You can chime in right now. We're live on the New Orleans Talk Network stream if you want to put your comments below. Shouts out to all of our folks from the West Bank Nosy Neighbors. They're chiming in on our shows, so y'all feel free to comment as well. We appreciate y'all for checking us out every week. Every week I'm going on their page and they're checking us out, so y'all feel free to comment as well. I'm a little disappointed growing up. I mean, in like the early 90s, like 92, 93, 94, like when Tyrone was drafted to the Saints. And I was checking out my Saints. I'm excited. Local boys saying, oh, I'm excited about them, right?
Yeah.
But I like the Dallas Cowboys for a very long time. I mean, since at least 1990. It's been my team. And legit, someone sent this to me. I want to say it was DJ Spin sent this to me. It was very diabolical of him just look what happened to your team. All right, so check this out. Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts was not born the last time the Cowboys has played in a meaningful football game.
Right.
Those boys have won their conference championship before the Cowboys.
Well, what he say in layman's term, what he's saying is Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts.
I wasn't even talking about Patrick Mahomes.
Was birth, grew up, went to high school, went to college, became professional athletes. Got contracts, and are in the Super Bowl in all those years before the Cowboys.
It's crazy. So a lot of folks are thinking, what was the big conversation? All the blogs, everybody was talking about it. Man, Jerry Jones going to hire Prime. Prime can handle Jerry. They're going to give him the biggest deal, going to bring Shador in. All of that went out the window. They went with, and y'all bear with me, they went with Brian Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer. You're like a hot shot, Schottenheimer. Sorry, Brian. Brian Schottenheimer, right? Now, they gave this a C grade. For Coach Jerry, it was a lateral move for Schottenheimer to bring him in because he was already on the staff.
Promoted within.
So they got. Do you give that a C?
I give it less than a C.
I give it a D. Yeah. D plus. And the reason it's not a D minus is because
Jerry needs somebody to do what he say. I mean,
well, it's not necessarily that, because he was already in there. So most of the roster, he's already cool with those guys. So building the team respect. I don't want to use the word respect. I'm going to say familiarity.
Oh, there's familiarity, but the crazy part about it is, why would Jerry Jones call this dude a career assistant? which is beyond you know, and it is what it is. I mean, maybe Jerry is the great guy that likes to state the obvious, but he lost me when he did that. And I understand from your standpoint when you say, hey, within they're familiar with the guys, but Jerry, think about it. They went from talking about getting Prime and Shador to getting Schottenheimer to step up.
and
Thank you, Dallas.
Schottenheimer has all of this pressure on him. Like, you have to, like, legit, you got handed the keys to a very rare Rolls Royce.
Oh, yeah.
And
you got to drive it on New Orleans streets.
Yes. And you got to go through Dallas long highways dealing with that. And I mean, they gave it a C. I'm definitely giving it a D plus, and the only reason it's not a D minus because he was already on the staff. Number 5, the Las Vegas Raiders hiring Pete Carroll. They gave that a B.
I agree.
Minus. I went with a B.
B,
I'm
regular
with you.
B.
Yeah, I gave it a regular B.
B.
Now, I guess the minus for them comes from,
How old he is?
yeah, he's kind of getting a little older. But he
AJ
averaged 9.5 wins at Seattle.
Baby, your mama going to tell you, your daddy going to tell you, age ain't nothing but a number. Do you see Pete Carroll at practice? He's more jovial and upbeat than some younger coaches out here in this league. So don't let the age thing throw you off. And with Tom Brady spearheading that whole experience, I think they got a plan inside of a plan.
Good point. I mean, listen, they missed out on Venerable, Johnson, Liam Cohen, which his name has really – he's been the story of this whole deal. I mean, we're going to get to all that in a minute. Okay. Number 4, I'm going to argue that this shouldn't be 4. I think this is a top 1, top 2 hire. CL will probably say the same thing. Aaron Glenn to the Jets. Now, they gave it a B. The franchise, wanted to go in a direction of a proven winning coach. Now, you had Robert Salah. He was a winning coordinator, right? Same thing here. Now, Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, this was going to be the guy that was going to come save the Saints, right? But it looks like he's going to resurrect the Jets. I give it an A. I really think that this was a high-grade coach. He understands the players. He played the game recently from a perspective of knowing what old-school ball is. At the same time, having a guy like Kelvin Shepard on the staff, which shouts out to Kelvin Shepard, too. That's my linebacker from LSU, the new defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. It's cold in the D. Yeah, straight up.
Dirty
man.
D.
Shouts out to Walt Daddies, talking about the dirty D. It's cold out there, Walt Daddy. Georgia product, came to LSU in 2006. Played immediately as a freshman. His sophomore year, he was my starting linebacker. Him and Perry Riley come from the same high school out there in Stone Mountain, Georgia. And, I saw Shep firing off on the training camp.
I saw
Hard Knocks.
I saw it.
I'm going to put Rodriguez in because you ain't doing what you're
Don't make me
supposed
start
to
this
do.
rookie. Don't make me start this rookie. I was loving it.
I start this rookie.
I started.
No offense to you, Rodriguez.
You doing your thing.
Chef funny, dog. Shit, we got some look, you got some classic stories, man. But again, for Detroit, you got your one heck of a coordinator. And for the Jets, they have themselves one hell of a head coach. Number 3, New England, Mike Venable. Really a good hire. They gave it a B plus. I'm with the B plus. I think it's a good hire. The reason it's not an A, and y'all may feel me on this one, as a head coach, he didn't do a fantastic job in Tennessee. That doesn't necessarily mean he can't do the job, and this is more familiarity. CL, what's your thought on Venable?
Well, I just want to track back and just say I think it all was a B as well for Coach Glenn for the Jets, formerly playing, of course. We all know his credentials. Congratulations, Coach. I do think that it would have been a better fit for us in New Orleans, but for obvious reasons, we know why he decided not to come here. Him going forward for the Jets, we know the Jets are a dumpster fire, but the plus is and then you know what? I'm gonna give it a B plus because the plus is Coach Glenn knows what it is to go to a downtrodden franchise and turn it around from the ground up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he went to Detroit Lions. Clearly, they weren't good, and they've turned it around. It's the same mission, and I think Coach Glenn is ready for that mission.
I agree with CL 100%. Here's somebody who understands how, from ground zero, how to build a team.
And what it looks like.
Yeah, and the playoffs, Detroit didn't see the playoffs in forever. I mean, even with Barry Sanders, they were more successful now than in the Barry days. Think about it.
Oh, my God.
I mean, Barry was great. I mean, he was one hell of a running back, but it was some
They have broken records in Detroit with the record and consecutive wins. You know, 2 NFC Championship games. You know, and that's the thing. A lot of people memories are short because you know the Lions have never really been the roar that they've always said, and now this is the time. But just to not even a sidebar, just to let people know. It's hard to win the Super Bowl, man. It is not easy to win the Super Bowl. Think about the Detroit Lions this year. You just knew that they were on the way to the Super Bowl. They didn't make it. Just think about the Buffalo Bills.
It's true.
Matter of fact, just think about the Baltimore Ravens.
That's the most heartbreaking
Imagine
one
the
right
people
there.
that swore to God that they didn't make it.
Derrick Henry going to take us to the
Man,
promised land.
It is
All
hard to win
out
a
the
Super
window.
Bowl, let alone go to one. So when we do see guys going to it for the second time with with the Chiefs as well as the Philadelphia Eagles, hats off to them because it's not easy.
We got 2 more here in a couple more minutes. Jacksonville, I really think you take the Aaron Glenn higher, put that one at 2, and then move my next one to 4, and that's Liam Cohen going out from, I mean, this guy's been everywhere from – he was just with the Bucks. He was out with Sean McVay and them out. He's bounced around. They say it's an A. Now, they're saying that because he helped resurrect Baker Mayfield. Right? He was a part of that offensive staff. Right. The coordinator's A grade. They're saying that he's going to rejuvenate Trevor Lawrence's career. I just don't think it's a 3-year contract. This guy just has a reputation of 2 years out. 2 years out. Like, he'd have been on like 11 staffs in the past 12 years. But, you know, he did rejuvenate Baker Mayfield.
Well, maybe that means he know more personnel than the average coach coming in.
Hey.
Since he's been to different organizations, maybe he knows the key guys to pick up in free agency. Because when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars and you realize that they have the $55 million quarterback, they do have the star wide receiver in Brian Thomas, LSU Brian Thomas, 1,000-yard Pro Bowl receiver. They do have a ETN in the backfield, so they have pieces.
Right.
You know, what credit do we give to coaching? A guy that knows the guys, a man's man, a coach's coach, a player's coach. You know, what credit do we give? Because you can retread all you want, but if you have a guy that's been in seven different organizations and now he's taking care of yours, I think they're going in the right direction.
Now, last but certainly not least, and this is arguably number 1, I would probably go 1A, 1B with this and the Glenn hire. I mean, Ben Johnson, you go back to Detroit, right? Look what he's done. We could say the same thing with Aaron Glenn defensively. You can say about him offensively for that. When I say they had a staff, man, that was one heck of a staff that they assembled out there in Detroit. A+. I mean, this franchise needed this. This may actually save Ryan Poole as a GM, bringing this guy in because winning tradition, building from ground zero, this is going to be a huge deal for the Chicago Bears.
He was waiting for it. It was waiting for him. I think it's a perfect fit. They have pieces in for Chicago.
Well, it's Inside the Trenches, baby. He's CL Nola. I'm Big Fave. Y'all don't go anywhere. We got Saints Hall of Fame. Tyrone Hughes going to sit down and holler at us, man. We're going to talk a little Saints. We're going to take it back to the 90s when he played with the Saints, go to the NFL, talk about all of that good stuff. Y'all don't go anywhere. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. We live here at Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Talk to me now. Y'all come on through, man. Have a little dinner with us. Peace.
Hello, somebody. This is Robert Wolf. If you are in need of construction or real estate services, project management services, give us a call at 504-393-2445.
Well, hello. Like Rob just said, hit up Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate for your real estate and construction needs. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Fave Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through. 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app weekdays, 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Hi, it's Alberto Montero. We got a great selection of vehicles in and out of here on a daily basis. We offer financing, all Carfaxes are online, and all our vehicles are serviced and inspected before sale. Best selection and prices in all of the New Orleans metro area. Come visit us today at 1512 North Causeway in the heart of Metairie. Come check us out at MonteroMotors.com.
Montero Motors, a proud sponsor of Inside the Trenches, ESPN New Orleans.
Hello, I'm Shelton Jordan with Lamar Crescent City Ford. If you are in need of a commercial vehicle, I'm here to help. From F-150s to Super Duty trucks or chassis, to cargo vans, passenger vans, or if you're in need of a vehicle to be upfitted, we can build it especially for you. Or if you're looking for a truck or SUV, I can also help you at Lamar Ford Store in Kenner. Feel free to call me at 504-734-3579 and ask for Shelton. Lamar Crescent City Ford is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
In New Orleans, football is more than a game. It's a way of life. And just like our offensive line, we protect what matters most. With the big game in New Orleans at Elliott Security Solutions, we don't just protect, we lead. And now, we're hiring the best to join our team. Call 504-392-4424 or visit ElliottSecuritySolutions.com. Elliott Security is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809.
Just like that, baby, we back. It's Inside the Trenches. It's your host, Marlon Big Fave Favorite, and we having ourselves one heck of a time over here at Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. And look, last segment I told y'all I was going to let y'all know about Picolo and Ramos Real Estate. They're over there at 1943 Sotheby Wright Place, over there in New Orleans, Louisiana. You could call them if you're looking to sell your house, buy a house. You're looking to rent, like, man, I'm not trying to do anything right now. I just need somewhere to stay. You got to holler at my people over there at Picolo and Ramos, 504-826-8426. Yes, indeed, baby. My next guest really needs no introduction, right? Hail from the streets of the 7th Ward, baby, where them hard heads at, right? Yes, indeed. You know, from there, spent a little time out in Nebraska, right? Played some ball out there. DB now, DB specialist, right? You know how they do it over there, Sierra, out of St. Augustine High School.
Yes, sir.
Saints Hall of Fame. Number 33 on the field, but number 1 in y'all hearts.
Number 1.
Tyrone Hughes, baby, man. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
We got to make sure we got you mic'd up there. There you go.
There we go. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
As any time, you know, Fave, thanks a lot. You do a lot. Love the music too.
Oh, okay.
Love the music.
Hello, somebody. Appreciate that. Yes, indeed.
Go down on commercial break.
He shows his talents.
Yeah,
all of them. Yeah.
So thankful, man. So and that's what we do down here in New Orleans. You and I were just talking about that off air. we're talking about St. Aug, you start thinking about guys like you, Tyrann Mathieu, Leonard Fournette. Y'all produce some superstars.
We're actually the #1 school in the state, and I want to say we're in the top 7 in the country with guys playing in the NFL. Although we haven't won a state championship since '79, but we put them out there.
Oh,
we definitely
man.
got them.
See, he don't make the Cowboys look as bad. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, they say coaching matters, and that makes a huge difference in football. Currently, your head coach is not only none other than Old Perry Walker's very own Robert Valdez. How do you feel about Valdez and the direction that he's sending these Purple Knights going forward?
I'm going to tell you this. From what I've seen after meeting Coach Valdez and looking at what he did this year with those guys, knowing how young they are, I think this probably will be – I'm hoping this will be our last coach.
Okay.
I'm hoping this will be our last coach. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, and people have always jumped on me for fighting against the school or the administration because I didn't feel they were doing enough on the football side. And I understand, yeah, it's about academics, but like I tell them, I say it all the time, you know, St. Aug used to be about educating the underprivileged black youth. Majority of my graduating class came out of the St. Bernard Project. Okay. And we had dogs. You know, now they look for, you know, kids that can afford the tuition. And that ain't going to be too many dogs.
Hey, hello, somebody.
You know, and a lot of them coming from single mom families where they still got that breast milk, you know, coming, that they don't want to unhitch from. But they have a lot. They do still have a lot of talent. I think the new president, Austin Taylor, he's trying to get it turned around and has been doing a lot, you know, especially raising money for the school. Obviously, we have the new football field with the Henry family has donated to them. And I was just showing you pictures of it.
That's
purple
fire.
and gold field with Troy Henry and his brother. So they've done a great job there. And so, you know, getting talent hasn't really been a problem at St. Aug. It's coaching the talent up. You know, and one of the things that I used to always say is, or that I complained about, you know, and the guys, a lot of the non-athletic guys would be, well, hey, just go with the flow, accept what's going on, you know. And my thing is, regardless of who you hire as a coach, I'm a firm believer that when you hire that coach, he should have at least 3 years to produce on any level. Because the first year you have to figure out who you have and what you don't want.
Right.
You know, and then the second year you kind of start to try to change it around. The third year you hope to see progress. Now, if you don't see that progress, then you need to be let go. But with St. Aug, I think over the last maybe 15, 20 years, every 3 years we've been looking for another another coach. Yeah, and so my question has always been, who's doing the picking? And what qualifies you to be on that committee to pick the coach? And so everybody's like, well, stop worrying about it. Just go with the flow, and you got to respect what's going on. No. But then when I say, okay, they made, regardless of what I said, they didn't made that hire. After the first 2 or 3 games or a couple of losses, everybody the first year, get rid of him. Well, no, give him his chance.
Right. Heavy in the last 15 years.
I've never been against a coach. I've been against the committee. Because I don't see anybody on that committee who's been qualified to do the picking.
That's
and
some
I hope
insight.
this is, like I said, I hope this is our last coach. Because I see a lot of progress and a lot of capabilities and a lot of knowledge with this guy.
No, T, you said a lot just now. Answered a lot of questions, too, because I was going to get into a lot of that. First and foremost, Robert Valdez is a great coach. What he did down in St. James was great, out in Grambling. He was actually the 4th guest on this show years ago when we first got started. No doubt. Solid coach, but it was a surprising hire because I was under the assumption that y'all only hire St. Aug alum.
No, not necessarily. No, I mean, a couple of guys that have been there hasn't always been just saying, and then that has come up a couple of times when guys have said hire St. Aug alum. Whether it's myself, Brantley Williams, and that was one of the things. One of the guys that should have been had the job was Brantley Williams. Should have been had the job, but when they come back to saying, you know, Otis Washington didn't go to St. Aug. Watson Jones, if I'm not mistaken, didn't go to St. Aug, and these were 2 of the best coaches, basketball-wise and football-wise, at St. Aug ever.
Crutchfield was he went.
Crutchfield didn't go to St.
He's from down in, I think
he
he's from Bell Chase like type.
Somewhere down there, yeah. And I actually coached against Crutchfield when I was at Phoenix, and he was at Port Sulphur at the time, and then after the hurricane, it became South Plaquemine. But no, they've and I like I said, I hope it because of we have so much tradition, and that's why a lot of people were sending their kids there. Right. Now Carr has stepped on the block and just took over. So and they free.
that part.
I tell people even on the college that I said Nick Saban sort of writing on the wall. Right. I said because kids were going to like Nick Saban. I used to say with Alabama, he could have got rid of they could have saved money on a recruiting budget. They didn't have to travel or whatever because everybody wanted to come there because they were winning. You knew I got an opportunity to play for a national championship every year. It wasn't even a question every year. But now with this NIL, kids ain't worried about whether they're going to win a national championship. They want to know if I'm getting paid.
They want that business. They want that bag.
How much you going to pay me? And so that's why you got what you've seen this year as it pertains to these playoffs. The playoffs, to me, were garbage. I didn't like them at all. I like the fact that, I'll say this. I believe in if you win your conference, you should have an opportunity to go. If you have a better record than somebody else, regardless of what division they're in, you should have an opportunity to go. Right. But even they even messed that up.
Right.
They even messed that up. So
we've addressed that in the past that the bracketing, it's about fan base. It's about television views. It's about, the bigger schools. I've been quoted before saying the bigger schools get the bigger NIL deals. They get the bigger players, and those players need to be seen on TV, i.e. the television contracts, so on and so forth. You follow the money, but question, do you like the concept of it, the 12 maybe going to the 14, or you're just holding steady with the conference winners and what comes about that?
I like the playoff because even with the picking again, they met like last year. There's no way in hell you can tell me that Texas belonged in the playoff because they lost. Alabama, Georgia at the time was the best. They had one loss to Alabama.
That's right.
But Georgia was the best team in the NC in college football. Yeah. They were the best team. They had one loss. Yeah. And you don't even put them in the playoffs?
That was stupid to me.
Remember, playoffs, playoffs. Like, they didn't make it, but you put in a Texas team that had 2 losses, and one of them was to Oklahoma.
Well, they
Must
lost.
Be the money.
Yeah, they lost me when they did Florida State dirty.
Because that contradicted your reasoning for putting Texas in because you're talking about, with Florida State starting quarterback. Wasn't it?
And that's what gave. That's what gave me the thought process to come up here and just be honest. And just tell you the truth. Hey, it's not about what those kids do. Those 12, 13 games. It's not about it's about money and revenue. It's about traveling universities and band boosters, and it's about television contracts. So I'm glad we were able to address that in the near future, which is right now. But they lost me when they did Florida State.
If y'all just tuning inside, this is a great conversation. If y'all just tuning in, we're live here at Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Our guest is Saints Hall of Fame Tyrone Hughes. Be sure to follow him at Saints. I was going to make sure I got it right. At Saints Hall of Fame 33.
33.
Listen, man. Hey, we talking college ball now. Let's go to then. When you were at Nebraska, you come out of St. Aug, you go out to Nebraska. Back then, it was the old days. Colorado.
It was the Big 8. And I tell people all the time, the Big 8 back then is what the SEC is now. We were the big dogs. Yeah. Now, you would have Miami come along every once in a while, some independent. Notre Dame had their couple of years. Yeah, Colorado had a couple of years. But as far as the Big 8 conference, it was us in Oklahoma and everybody else.
Now, Colorado, y'all played, that was y'all conference.
It was in our conference. I'm saying Colorado, Kansas State, Missouri, Iowa State, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. Oklahoma State.
Now, paint the picture and give us the timing. Is this Colorado Rashad Salam time, Stewart time?
Actually,
Ray Caruth.
Salam. Definitely Westbrook, because I played against Westbrook.
All right.
But I'm trying to think Salam, because when I got to Chicago, he was just coming in. So they may have moved to the Big 12 by then.
Okay.
With Salam. But I know he played. I played with him in Chicago in '97. But the Big 8 was a beast.
And was your quarterback Frazier?
I had several quarterbacks. I had Jerry Godowski. We had Mike Grant, Mickey Joseph.
Mickey
and I, and that was a big thing coming out of high school, because Mickey and Reggie Cooper, who played at Slidell High School, were the offensive and defensive players in 1987.
Correct.
Okay.
And both of them went to
state championship, right?
Mickey went to. Mickey got knocked out of the state championship. I think Slidell did. Was it Slidell or Salmon? Slidell. So, but both of them ended up going to Nebraska.
Okay.
So now and Mike Archer was at LSU at the time, and I think Mac Brown was at Tulane. So everybody's trying to figure out, okay, well, we just lost the two top players out of Louisiana to Nebraska. You know,
something
like
going on.
what is that? So, of course, 1988 rolls around. This one-hit wonder come out of nowhere, becomes MVP of the state, athlete of the year, because I played all four sports.
Right.
And it came down to, I was highly recruited, but it came down to Nebraska and LSU. And I ended up going to Nebraska.
Wow. So
the question is why?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm about to say. So now the question's really coming up of, what the hell is Nebraska doing? That's 2 years in a row. You done took not only top guy, the top guys.
But now
Robbie Green was the defensive player of the year.
That's right.
I mean, defensive MVP, and he ended up going to LSU.
Yeah.
But but now I tell people all the time. We had Tom Osborne, who was our head coach at the time.
Yeah.
Great guy, great Christian guy. My position coach, Ron Brown, who was a receiver coach, great Christian guy. But the guy who got me to come, and I tell him, if Tom Osborne was the one recruiting me, I wouldn't have never went to Nebraska. I wouldn't have, because he was just too. But my mama loved him.
Right.
You know, and my dad worked at. I don't know if y'all remember, they had Gerard Chevrolet right on the corner of Tulane and Carrollton.
Okay.
It used to be I think it's a furniture store now, but it used to be Gerard Chevrolet car. And I walked up in there one day, and they had a sign up in there saying, because Tommy Hodson was the quarterback.
Tommy Hodson.
What was the two receivers? Roger McGee and Wendell Davis were the two starting
Chicago
receivers.
Bears.
Both of them left. And so they were trying to recruit me to come in and replace those guys. And I walked up in the dealership, and they had a sign saying Hodson to Hughes.
Wow, that's tight. Wow. So you said a whole lot.
So my dad wanted me to go to LSU.
Right. So you said the one-hit wonder. So your senior year was the only year that popped off at all?
Oh, definitely. I went to St. Aug to play baseball. I played junior. I played baseball. I played football. I was on the football team in junior high at Bell. I played on the basketball team, and I started in baseball. I was starting pitching, starting shortstop.
Wow.
So I ended up going to St. Aug, really starting in my sophomore year as a baseball player.
Right.
I went out for the football team, and my junior year, I was the punter.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so Burton Burns, when my senior, that was Charlie Ross left, Burton Burns and Tony Biegas came in, and Biegas was the head coach, but he was the defense coordinator. Burns took over the offense. And I want to say it was like the third to last game. This was before they came in. The third to last game of my junior year, Tyrone Payne, who was our secondary coach, he knew I was fast, so he told me to go in and return a punt. I went in there, returned the punt, scored a touchdown. They threw a flag. I went back and caught it again, and ran it back for a touchdown. From that point, Tyrone Payne said, well, you're going to be a defensive back. Well, Burton Burns them comes in the spring. Him and Tony, they come in the spring, and I don't know how Burns figured it out or just picked me, but he went and read this book called The Delaware Wing Tee. And from that was my offense. He made that offense or that formation for me. And so we had a three-way scrimmage up in Baton Rouge with Capital and Southern Lab. And we ran the wing tee to perfection. Well, we also had a goal line where he went with 3 running backs. Power I. It was 2 tight ends, 3 running backs. And it was 5 plays that you got on the goal line in the scrimmage. All 5 plays, we scored.
Wow.
So Burns was like, again, we had guys like Louis Age, who was 6. Louis Age at the time was 6'7", 295. Terry, the guard next to him, Terry Washington, was 6'6", 285. I'm sorry, 275. The center, Larry, probably was like 6'2", maybe about 250. The guard next to him, Chris Bone, was about 6'3", 250-something, or 260-something. And then Jackie Rowan, the other tackle, was 6'6", 285.
That's big back then, bro.
And hey,
that's
I'm going
huge.
to tell you, we had a game against Jesuit. We were undefeated in district that year. The game was going to be on Saturday night. That year was when they had the NFL strike, 88, right? 87, 88. They had the NFL strike. Everybody was saying our offensive line could have went play for the Saints scab team. And so they moved that game from Saturday night because they didn't have a Sunday game. They moved it to Sunday afternoon at Tad Gormley. And I don't know if y'all ever saw this, but at Tad Gormley, they used to have a partition, a fence that came down that actually separated one side from the other. You used to have to walk through the fence to get from one side to the other. As you walking around the horseshoe, there was a fence there that you would walk through the fence. And it actually came from, I guess, the 60s and 50s where it was segregation. Blacks were on, and that's how that game looked. But we had about 18 to 20,000. That stadium was packed that game, and we ended up winning that game. But Burns found that offense for me. And the game that really started it off, we had the first 3 preseason, what do they call it? Preseason.
Yeah, Jamboree
and all that. Yeah, so the 3rd game we played was against Kennedy, and thank you to all of those Kennedy Cougars. Even though y'all don't have a school no more.
Oh man,
I think they got a school now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's on Paris. It's
they took over Lake area.
Yeah,
no, but we talking about original school.
Yeah, no. They don't want that swampland back.
So I had the opening kickoff. I ran it back. I had a run for a touchdown. Now this is still the first half.
Right.
I had a punt return for a touchdown. Then with about a minute and something left in the game, I had a pass for a touchdown. So that was 4 touchdowns in the first half. I got the Gatorade Player of the Week. That next week I get to school, Coach Burns tells me, Tyrone, your mail is on my desk. And I'm like, what mail? Right. Well, I'm like, what the hell? I'm getting mail here from you. I mean, here at the school.
Yeah.
I go in there's a stack about this high of scholarship offers. I'm like, Coach Burns, what is this for? He said, that scholarship offers. I say, from who? He said, from colleges. I say, for what?
For what?
And this is the beginning of the season.
That's
crazy.
like 3rd, 4th game of the season. And so from then on, I was averaging about two at minimum of 2 touchdowns a game.
And you 3 phases. You played special teams, offense, and defense.
Well, no. I didn't play defense in high school. I only did offense and did the punt return and kickoff return.
I won't get to that.
I never did any defense.
That's crazy.
Ever.
Wow.
Well, never to skip over names that you've mentioned. Shouts out to Louis Age Jr. and Louis Age Sr. Number 9 Wall Stories. But started from the beginning, T. Tell them where you really started out from and how you got to where you got to.
Well, I started out, I was born in the lower 9th Ward.
Talk.
And, Gene Atkins, when I got with the Saints, that's what he used to call me, was 9th Ward. But I started in the lower 9th Ward, not hanging out in the streets, let me rephrase that, playing in the streets with all of the older kids. I always was playing in the streets. And we ended up, I think, my 3rd grade year, we ended up moving to the 7th Ward, right down the street from St. Aug, on the net. I ended up going to Epiphany. So I went to
Epiphany.
Yeah. So
Sister Kathleen.
Yes.
I
went to Epiphany. Stayed there till my 6th grade year, and in my 6th grade year, they ended up kicking me out because my dad was always cooking breakfast for me, and I was always late for school. So they ended up kicking me out of school. So I ended up going to Bradley. Then I ended up going to McDonough 28, my 7th grade year. Went to Andrew J. Bell, my junior and my senior year, which I actually played with a lot of those guys that went to Clark, which was Theopolis, Craig, Key Cryer, Troy White, all of those guys, Kerry. Washington, who does a lot of the DJing for Zulu or whatever. And so played with a lot of those guys. They all went to Clark, and I actually ended up coming to St. Aug.
So that's where the one you come from. All right, so you went to a couple high schools.
Well, junior high. Remember, that was junior highs then.
You 10, 11, 12 grade.
8, 7, 8, and 9, the junior high.
And then you go 10.
Carr was a junior high.
Yeah, West Jeff was a senior high school. Remember, they went to land like Blvd and all that.
Yeah, but Carr was a junior high school as well. So when I left Bell after the 9th grade, so I got to St. Aug in the 10th grade.
Okay, gotcha.
So I played baseball my first 2 years, and actually in all 3 years. And then, like I said, my senior year, when Burns came out with this book, The Delaware Wing Team, and started having this season with these guys, we ended up making it to, I think, the regional round. We got knocked off by Covington. Want to cry after that game, but we got knocked off by Covington and ended up being the offensive player of the year. And again, like I tell kids today, I was just having fun. I mean, I didn't know anything about. I was going to college till my mom and them was gonna make sure of that. Yeah. But I really didn't. I didn't know anything about scholarships.
Right.
That's crazy.
You know, going there for us to play football and everything. I knew. Hey, I love the NFL. Never thought about going and play in the NFL. Kids today, they working out in playground to play in the NFL. Yeah. You know, I'm like, but they taking all of the fun out of the game. You know, I played all 4 sports. I played football. I tell people I was on the basketball team. Didn't really get much playing time because that was during recruiting season. So I was hardly ever there. But the coach let me be on the team. I got a district patch. But got back into my senior year, got back into baseball. And that same coach, Tyrone Payne, who was my geometry teacher, and I'm gonna tell this story now. You didn't retire, so it ain't gonna matter. So I'm playing baseball with Coach Ozo, and at this time I'm starting pitcher and a starting shortstop at St. Aug. And Coach Payne in the classroom. Now we had a starting point guard, Darren Hall, but now of course we sitting in alphabetical order. So it's Hughes then Hall right behind me. So Coach Payne tells me he wants me to run track. And I'm like, Coach, I don't want to run track. I can't run track. I'm playing baseball, you know, because it's going on at the same time. And I said, I'm playing baseball. I don't want to run track. He's like, Tyrone, that's going to help you out. You're about to go to Nebraska. They're going to love you for it. You're going to run track. I said, Coach, I ain't running track. He said, Tyrone, if you don't run track, I'm going to fail Harbor. Wow. I said, we looked at each other like, wait a minute, you can't do that. He said, Tyrone, and this was in front of the whole class, if you don't run track, I'm going to fail Harbor.
That's funny.
So Darren looking at me like, what you going to do, dog? I'm like, man. So I go out there to run track. Well, I go out there to look at the track and see what they doing.
See what they looking
for. And I see the 400-meter runners doing their thing. I'm like, okay, I ain't even thinking about them. I ain't watching that. And I see the other guys doing their little workouts or whatever. So I'm like, okay. I said, but I still want to play baseball. So he said, well, I tell you what. He said, I'll talk with Coach Ozo, and we'll work it out where you come to football practice, track practice twice a week. You go to baseball practice 3 times a week. I was like, okay, cool. So it just so happens one day, me, Stanley Barataria was out running back, Lewis Age, Vince, all of us go out. Tulane was practicing. So we went out there to watch them. You know, they were recruiting us and everything. So I told Coach Ozo I was going to go to track practice. So I go tell Coach Payne I'm going to baseball practice. So we all jump in my car and we go watch at Tulane, and we all standing up there on the track watching them practice, and I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around, it's Payne and Ozo. They like, Payne said, what you doing here? I thought you were going to baseball practice. Lord said, I thought you told me you were going to track practice.
He can set it up like that.
Look, I turned to them, I said, what y'all doing here? Y'all supposed to be at practice.
That's crazy. Man, so T, man, this is cool. I didn't know all of this, high school history portion of it. So you go out to Nebraska, have an excellent career there, and then you're drafted 5th round to the New Orleans Saints as a specialist.
Well, let me go back on that one. So from at Nebraska, of course, I did the punt return, the kickoff return. My junior year, we're playing against Colorado in negative 15-degree weather. Ooh. I'm back there to receive a punt. I get tackled, and I get up, but my arm is still laying on the ground. I'm like, why is it not moving? So I go to the sideline. It's like almost the end of the game. We winning. I go to the sideline. We go inside, and my wrist was broke right up in here.
Damn.
And really, because of the turf, what we played on back then was
turf.
basically was just carpet over cement.
cement.
And it was so frozen it didn't give. And so the guy landed on my wrist and broke my wrist. So I had a cast on. In fact, when they took the cast, you could still see the scar. Remember, they used to have those blades to cut the cast that they tell you wouldn't cut you.
Yeah,
there it is. the scar right there. So we had a couple of more games, and they had the cast above my elbow. So I was able to do. I wasn't able to do anything. And when we came to the last game of the season, going for the Big 8 championship, we played against Oklahoma, Thanksgiving every year. And they took the cast from above my elbow and put it down below my elbow. So I at least was able to bend my elbow, but I still had the cast on. So Coach Osborne told me, he said, well, look, we're not going to put you in on any punt returns, but we want you to still do kickoff return. Because if you drop the ball, you got time to pick it up.
Right,
so I did that, a couple of returns. I think the second half, they kicked off to us. I broke one for like about 30, 40 yards, kicked us off, and we ended up going to the going to the Big 8. Won the Big 8 championship, going to play for a national championship against, who was it, our junior? Miami.
I think
the Miami Hurricanes.
I remember that.
In fact, they have a 30 for 30.
And that game was, that's right.
And I got the cast on and got blasted by I think it was Kevin Williams, because him and I were contending for the kick returner yards champions or whatever it is, best kick returner that year. Kevin Williams, I think it was.
How many you took to the house in Nebraska?
I think I had 2 or 3 that actually counted. I had several that always got called back from a penalty on the other side of the field. Penalty on the other side of the field. So we go play I have a cast on, and I'm playing against Lamar Thomas, Kevin Williams, Horace Copeland, Miami Hurricanes. And I didn't do too bad, didn't do great, didn't have any technique, because I went to Coach Osborne, and I asked him, I said, because I didn't want to be on the sideline doing nothing going into the bowl game. I said, well, Coach, why don't you let me play on the defensive side? Because our defensive back coach, Darlington, he was like, we're going up against a lot of speed. I was one of the fastest guys on our team. And so he said, well, Tyrone, okay, fine. So when we talked to Coach Osborne, he's like, well, let me see how you do in practice. Now, I knew ain't none of our receivers going to run by me, so I'm playing press man. Didn't really have any technique or whatever, but that's all I did. So we get into the game. They say, well, look, you got Kevin Williams. So I covered him the majority of the game, and he caught some passes. I broke up some passes. Didn't have a great backpedaling technique or whatever when we had to play off. But going into so we ended up losing that game. Going into my senior year, I told Coach Osborne in the spring, Coach, why don't you let me play both ways? And he said, no. He said, because you'll only be a 75% player. I said, well, my 75 better than some of the 100, better than some of the 100 we got up in there. So he said, get out of here and go back to the offense. So that fall, we going into playing all of the teams, Oklahoma, Kansas State. Everybody got away from the option except for us.
That's right.
And started throwing the ball. So now they come to me and say, Ty, we need more guys on the defensive side because everybody's throwing the ball this year. We want you to go both ways. So I said, okay, fine. Now, you kind of threw me out there now when I could have been learning this back in the spring.
Yeah, that's right.
You're throwing me out there now. But I actually played in about 5 games where I played both ways. Did okay. Senior bowl game, we playing against Charlie Ward in Florida State. Sean Jackson was there, or Muhammad now was there. And I actually got a sack on Charlie Ward, but they didn't count it. They said he got rid of the ball, which he didn't. His knee was down. But I should have got credit for the sack, but I didn't. So anyway, that season's over with. So we going into our workouts. I go to the combine, and I'm projected preseason, before the senior season started, preseason, top 5 pick.
Wow.
Because I had ran a 4.29.
That's what my next question.
I ran a 4.29 the spring before my senior year.
Wow.
And so coming into, we now going into, coming out of the senior year, coming into it, I used top 5, preseason top 5 pick. So we get into my senior year, we go to the combine. I ran a 4.5.
Wow.
And you know, back then, and ended up, everybody knew that turf was slower. With Deion was the only one that they said actually ran a fast time on that turf. So I come back to our pro day, and we probably had scouts from about 16 to 18 teams out there.
I was going to ask you that. How many people
Yeah, about 16 to 18. We was like saving them. You know, everybody was coming to Nebraska.
Right.
So they came out, and we would run on the electronic clock.
That's my next question.
And we were side by side. So we really were racing against each other to help each other out. Well, this particular year, they stopped the seniors or anybody that was going to the doing a pro day. They stopped us from running on the clock and took us in the corner, and they did handheld time. And we had to run individually. So we like, what the hell? So all of us are trying to figure out what we're going to do, you know, how, because it's hard to run by yourself.
Right.
You know, as opposed to when you're trying to race somebody. So what we did, we all went down in the corner, and they also had some lineman that was running the 300-yard shuttle on the other end. So what we all kind of got together, and we say, look, when he hit the goal line, because we started on the goal line, we was in our indoor arena. When you hit the goal line, watch him out the corner of your eye. When they go back and you see him, then you take off and you can go catch him. But he's way over there, but you can see him.
Yeah,
that's tight. So we did that. So when my turn came up, I did it. I took off. I'm looking at the guy at the corner of my eye. I'm running. And after everybody, we ran two of them. After everybody ran, after they ran the first one, they gave you your time. You went back, stretch, run the second one. After I ran my first one, they called me over. They said, let us check your shoes. I said, wait a minute, because you know back then you can't have no spikes or cleats or whatever. You had to have like
the turf
tennis
shoes.
Tennis shoes or turf shoes, So they checked my shoes, and I said, well, what was my time? They didn't give it to me. They said, go warm up and do your second one. So I ran my second one. After that, they didn't give me my time again. So we like, well, hold up. So I go to my receiver coach, Coach Brown. I said, well, Coach Brown, what's going on? They don't want to give me my time. I don't know what happened. He went and asked him. He said, Coach, we ain't giving it to you. So then Coach Osborne went over there. He said, guys, what's going on? You know, y'all got a problem with Tyrone? They like, Coach, whoever ain't here ain't getting it from us. Meaning what other teams wasn't getting. So I went home. I'm damn near crying, like, how? I don't know what's going on. They didn't want to give me my time. I went over there before I even had to run. I came into the pro day. I went to our trainer, George Sullivan, who was real respected across the league, college and NFL. And I told George, I said, George, I ain't feeling good. Something wrong. I feel sick. So he took my temperature. I had a temperature of 102.
Man.
He said, I'm going to get you out of everything. And everybody knew what happened at the combine. He said, I'm going to get you out of everything, but you got to run your 40. And they pumped me full of IVs and fluids and stuff, so I went out there and ran the 40. So when I get to my agent, after they didn't want to give me my times, I called my agent, and I say, Harold, I don't know what happened, but they don't want to give me my times. He said, well, I'll call you back. He said, he called me back about 20 minutes later. He said, you ran a 4.31 and a 4.35. He said, I thought you said you were sick. I say, that's why I ran a 4.31 and a 4.35.
So before we get y'all, we have to talk Saints, man. Because the time you were at the Saints, this is around the time the Dawn Patrol was kind of winding down, the identity of the team. This is a more senior team. Jim Moore is.
Playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. So you get drafted, your stock dropped tremendously, right?
Tremendously.
I mean,
had a
was the
draft party and everything.
You and Scholar have similar stories there, because
really?
because Scholar was a receiver specialist, you DB specialist. Both of y'all stocks dropped that senior year, but y'all was projected first rounders.
So before the draft, they brought me. The Saints actually knew I was coming home, and so they brought me in for a workout, and they worked me out as a receiver and a DB.
Wow. Come on.
Yeah, and they were saying that was like one of the few times they've done that. And so to me, I was always expecting to go as a receiver.
I always thought you was going to.
Yeah, you know, and so, but I mean, obviously a returner, but receiver as far as the position.
Right.
So first day goes by, second day goes by. That's the first, second, third, fourth round or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, television. So I get a call from Cincinnati Bengals saying, stay by the phone. We up next. We're about to pick you. And so I said, okay, thank you very much. I hung up the phone. I'm like, oh, my God, I don't want to go to Cincinnati.
No, you didn't.
No,
you didn't.
And so at that time, it's all for television, but on ESPN, they still had that,
the ticker at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that, and they show Cincinnati Bengals pick so-and-so. And then right after that, it showed the New Orleans Saints selects Tyrone Hughes. And my mom and everybody started screaming, and I looked. And I'm like, huh? Wow. And so then I get a phone call. It was Jim Miller saying, congratulations, you're a Saint. So I'm staying home. So that's how I ended up being with the Saints. And, of course, my rookie year I went off, made it to the Pro Bowl. But I also will say I played Pat Swilling had left to go to Detroit. Bobby left to go to Atlanta. But I did get to play with Sam Mills, Vaughn Johnson, and Ricky Jackson. And that was trust me, that was an experience right there.
I can imagine.
That was an experience. But the things that you learn from those older guys was amazing. As a rookie coming in, you think you know it all or have all of you got all of the talent. But when you learn about what it takes to be in the NFL, meaning it's about the mentality of the game or the knowledge of the game. Not everybody got the physical capability.
Right.
It's what you know mentally that's going to keep you there and get you by.
Tell me this, brother, because obviously you have a great past and great stories. Walk us through the day that you found out that you would be inducted into the New Orleans Saints Ring of Honor.
No, not the
Hall
Ring
of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
I wish I could get in that ring on, but no.
Hello.
Yeah.
We working
but no,
on it.
That was of course going through the career, and I really didn't expect it until I did get that call from Ken Trahan saying that they voted me in, and that was a hell of a feeling because as a returner, looking back at what I had done compared to what was before me. Mike came along, Beer Man, and did some more stuff.
Right.
But what I had done that was before me, I thought myself was a hell of an accomplishment. And looking at the yardage, the stats, what people don't realize, I set the NFL record 3 years in a row, 94, 95, and 96.
That's right.
As a kickoff return yards, kickoff return, kickoff attempts, and kickoff return yards. So that was which typically is maybe not a good thing because you lose and you're always getting them kickoffs. But I set that record 3 years in a row, and so that was a great accomplishment for me. And then I have obviously the Rams game. I had a total of 347 yards in the game between kickoff and punt returns. Total 304 on kickoff returns, 2 kickoff returns to a touchdown. So and I almost had a third in that game, and so it was a hell of an accomplishment. But I definitely enjoyed it. It was an emotional part for me because I really enjoyed it because to me it was like a thank you for what you've done or a culmination for everybody to say, hey, we saw and appreciate what you did.
Yeah, hey, man, I want to keep talking with T. Keelan. I'm going to keep it going. If y'all just tuning in, I'm here with Tyrone Hughes, Saints Hall of Famer. Hey, let me tell you something. Some of the most electrifying plays in the NFL. Go to YouTube. Check it out. Between years of 93 and 95, he was with the New Orleans Saints having one hell of a time. All right, so you had to you did the special teams, but you had to start on defense as a rookie, right?
I did. Actually, I played in a couple of games because let me go back to this. When the Saints drafted me, when they worked me out, Jim Moore Jr. was the one who wanted to work me out as a defensive back because he was the DB coach at the time.
That's right.
So when the Saints drafted me, they didn't draft me as a receiver, which I did know at the time they needed a returner. That's the first thing. But they drafted me as a position was as a defensive back.
Wow.
And so I was literally learning the position as I was playing. Now, I understood coverages and everything from being at Nebraska as a receiver. We had to know coverages, what the responsibilities were, but playing it in technique is two totally different things, And so a lot of times that's why I was playing a lot of press man because I didn't have the technique as far as backpedaling, understanding leverage, and understanding how to read the quarterback and all of this other stuff. That was something. I had the speed. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna run by me. Right. So that's how. But I ended up having to learn from those guys that were with me, and over time, you start to pick. I was always a student of the game, even at Nebraska. So you start to learn the nuances of an offense or a defense. And once I started learning that, it became a lot easier because I think I ended up, I might have had like 4 or 5 picks over my career or whatever.
Okay.
But it was always in situations that were key that I had to make the play. So I had started off as the nickel or dime back on the inside. But then I had that same Rams game was the first game that I actually started on the outside as a cornerback because we had 2 cornerbacks go down. So I started that game as a cornerback. So typically I'm in on 3rd down, go back, return a punt on 4th down. Well, in this game, I'm in on 1st down, 2nd down on the outside, 3rd down I go move in on the inside, 4th down I go return a kick. And then if they score, return a punt. Return a punt. So then if they score, now I'm going in for the kickoff. The return. And I would tell you this. With all of that running I did in that game, and if y'all watch that game on the Fox, I love Joe Buck on the Fox because they gave me a lot of love in that game. That game was the first, after that game, I learned to start hydrating and drinking during the week. Because at the end of the game, we're in a 2-minute situation because the game was still close.
That's right.
We're in a 2-minute situation.
It's cool.
I'm playing dime back or holding my stomach because my stomach is cramping up. Because I'm dead tired. My stomach's cramping up. I'm trying to tell JL, hey, I need to come out. He like, you can't. We ain't got nobody else. So me and JJ McCluskey, we switch. I send him up.
Senior.
I go in the back as the free safety. I'm just standing, but I'm literally holding my stomach because I can't.
Just making sure nothing get behind. That was a smart move. And this happened your rookie year?
That was my second year.
Okay,
my second year. That was my second year. So then moving on, I started to learn more and more of that nickel and dime to where it became a situation where Jim Mora and Hazlitt, the defensive coordinator, they started moving me like Carolina came in. I want to say it was 95. I think they came out. They started running a lot of 3 wides and 2 back 20 personnel. So instead of having our safety cover the slot receiver, they would put me in that safety on 3rd downs, and I would have to either cover, if it's man-to-man, I'm covering the slot. If we're in zone, I'm just playing, whether it's 2 or 3, I either got the middle or got a half.
Right.
You know, so they were using me. They started using me my 3rd and 4th year in a lot of areas as a defensive guy, and that was one of the things because they also knew I knew every position. So, I mean, I literally played I played corner, I played safety, I played nickel and dime. So I understood. I mean, I remember when we played against Atlanta, and Jeff George is making a check, and I learned this from Sam Mills. But I'm telling the linebackers, hey, they running this way, you know, because I knew if I'm out and I move in, they supposed to count me in the box.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they don't count me in the box, you ain't audible enough, so you running the ball.
That's right. Y'all hear that? Huh? Hey, that's one-on-one right there, youngsters. We clear tape in there.
Hall of Fame.
You know, so that was a lot of stuff that was going on. But like I said, going through all of that, and now looking at how the Saints are, obviously Drew Brees came through, and the stuff that they did, went to the Super Bowl, was great for the city. And I heard you guys talking about it earlier, but trying to get to all of these coaching hires.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That the Saints still don't have nobody.
Well,
you know, and I would say, and this is one of the things that, and people again don't like it because they want to be fans, and I understand it. You're a fan, but you have to look at what's the benefit to the team. And I said when the Saints started after they lost the Atlanta game. Because they went the first 2 games, everybody's talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, it's a long season. I say it's a long season. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. They lost the Philadelphia game, which they should have won. They gave it up in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
They lost the Atlanta game, which they should have won. They gave up in the 4th quarter. So they're still playing. But at this point,
by a field goal.
The first person you lost, because we had said prior to the season starting, the Saints are going to go as their offensive line goes. Yeah. And they can't afford to get none of those starters hurt. And the first person that got hurt was the main one,
Gerald McCoy.
And you saw once he went down how that whole offense changed.
Domino effect.
But the whole offense, because not Kubiak, and then Taysom Hill goes down.
Okay.
So that's like 60-70% of your play calling.
Right.
Because you got plays for him, packages for him as tight end.
That's right.
Running back, quarterback, receiver. Like, so that's most of your playbook is gone.
And just for the people that are not familiar with McCoy, he was the first alternate for the Pro Bowl after the Philadelphia Eagles center got the nod, and obviously him going to the Super Bowl, he's not going to play in the Pro Bowl. So just to tell you how good he was, because how many games McCoy missed?
he missed
7 games, and he still was a Pro Bowler.
He's the top 3 center.
Yeah, just to show you how good he is.
And so that was one. And so I started saying the Saints should tank.
Right.
And of course, nobody want to hear that.
No.
And like I tell people, that's not. I had people say, "Well, Tyrone, if you was a player, would you want to tank the game?" I say, "No, but that wouldn't be my decision.
Right.
That's not a player's decision, and that's not a coach's decision. They still have to play and coach for their jobs. That is an organization decision to say, hey, coach, you need to sit this player down, or hey, coach, you need to sit that player down. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen somewhere down the line because I can't believe Alvin Kamara ended up missing a game because of a groin. Not the way he in shape. That was questionable to me. But getting back to
it, a lot of questions.
Getting back to it, that is an organizational decision to make, and I think that's something that they should have done. Seeing how and people always say, "Oh, well, every team has injuries." That shouldn't be an excuse. It's not an excuse when it's a fact. It was detrimental to the Saints because the problem was the Saints had so much salary cap issues that they didn't have capable backups. Every other team probably had capable back. I remember when they played Green Bay. Was it Green Bay? The Giants, I'm sorry. When they played the Giants.
Wide receiver.
The defensive line. That whole defensive line was backups when they played the Giants.
That's right. That's right. You had
and they played.
Brazil I think he was the only starter.
Well,
the Giants' defensive line.
The
Giants' defensive line was all backups, and the way they played the Saints, like that offensive line.
Somebody got paid.
Well, and to give a better example of that, we didn't have viable backups at the wide receiver position.
Nowhere.
You're thinking that Olave is a 1. In reality,
to me,
he's a number 2.
He's a 2.
He's a 2, and then in reality, Sheedy is a 3. So you never had a 1. Now your 2 and your 3 go down. Well, your 1 and your 2 go down, and now we're picking up guys from the streets.
3, 4, 5. All right, so
your linemen go down.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know they got to hire a head coach, but right now, what are the top 3 needs for the New Orleans Saints?
1 is a coach.
Two top 4 needs.
Two is a quarterback. 3 is some more offensive. I would keep Fuaga. I would keep McCoy, and believe it or not, because a lot of people don't.
I like it.
Penning is aggressive, and somebody got to learn how to tell he's overly aggressive. Mm-hmm. He's not a bad player. He's just overly aggressive. He gonna grab you. He gonna choke you. He gonna stomp on you. He gonna throw you down.
We need a little nasty on this team.
But he just has to learn to play within the confines of within the confines of the game.
You're a perfect candidate for this next comment. He comes from South Dakota State, a Division II school, or FCF's Division I school, or whatever, of a smaller school. He needed to come in and see what the NFL was first.
Well, again, getting back to coaching, y'all got to teach it to him.
Yeah.
Right? So those 3 linemen I would keep. I get rid of Ruiz. They should get rid of Ramczyk. After that, I would have got. But and this was another thing I said 3 or 4 years ago. They should have got rid of Cameron Jordan. They should have got rid of Alvin Kamara. They should have got rid of. They should have got rid of. They should have got rid of Demario. Listen, they should have got rid of Demario Davis.
Tickle pink,
boy.
They should have
got.
And see, so people now, and to tell you how people don't understand. Oh, what you saying? They can't play. They no good. No. What I'm saying is because they still can play, we can get something for them for the future.
It's better to get rid of them.
We can get draft picks for them. Now you ain't getting nothing.
Right.
Look at Marlon.
Because it's better to get rid of them the year before they go over the hill than the year after. I've been telling New Orleans this for 2 years now. 2 years.
And now you didn't sign Kamara to a 2-year deal. He's still showing promise. Again, I'm not knocking him saying that he can't play. I'm saying because he can play, but he's older, we need draft picks. That's what the Saints need because you stuck with Derek Carr.
Stuck.
You ain't getting rid of him. the position you picking in, you ain't getting no Shador, you ain't getting no Cam Ward or whatever.
Y'all heard this
so
before?
you stuck with Derek Carr.
Like Chuck,
So if you stuck with Derek Carr, it ain't gonna make sense for you to go out and you're gonna keep, if you're not gonna rebuild and you're gonna keep this team that you have with these older players, you might as well let Rizzy be the coach.
Head coach.
Because it don't make sense to bring in a new one.
Right. He said quarterback right after that. So now from the quarterback, do you find your guy?
D tackles.
Yeah.
More
safeties.
Definitely safety.
With those third-round picks, because it's 3 of them, you going D tackle, safety, say like you spending a lot of money on after you get your. So you getting your offensive line from free agency?
I would still see who's available, because understand this. I think this year coming out, we're going to probably have some at that pick. You could probably pick up another good guard
right
in the first round.
You could get the best guard.
You could still be in the top at 10.
At number 9,
10.
number 10, you would get the best guard off the board. Campbell would be gone. The best tackle would be gone. Campbell would be gone, but you'd get the best guard and you would get the best wide receiver if you chose to get a wide receiver in the first round. I wouldn't do that. I would get a free agent wide receiver, a veteran free agent wide receiver, like a T. Higgins, like a Metcalf.
Because you got an older squad
like
that you're gonna keep. Those other guys that you're gonna pick in that first round are to groom them and let them come along.
Right.
But if you get rid of. If you're going to be able to get rid of Carr, if you're going to be able to get rid of all of these older guys and rebuild, then you bring in a new coach.
Right.
We got so much Saints stuff to get into, man. T, thank you so much for coming on. Saints Hall of Fame and stuff, but we got to get you back on. We got to have a part 2 to this one because the Saints do have a lot to talk about.
Because I want to talk about them coaches that everybody was on, Ben Johnson and Eric Glenn. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all do realize that that's Dan Campbell's team, and Dan Campbell personality, not Aaron Glenn, not Ben Johnson.
And they've never been head coaches.
I'm glad they have the opportunity.
Right.
That's it's Inside the Trenches, baby. Y'all don't go nowhere. We got one more segment. We got to talk Pels. We got to talk the NFL draft as well, baby. Shouts out to Small Sliders for all the love that they show on the show as well. Montero Motors, Robert Wolf Construction, Elliott Security, and Lamarck Ford Crescent City. Y'all don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back, baby. Live at Small Sliders. It's Inside the Trenches. Hello. Yeah.
Sound real familiar.
He said.
Hello, somebody. This is Robert Wolf. If you are in need of construction or real estate services, project management services, give us a call at 504-393-2445.
Well, hello. Like Rob just said, hit up Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate for your real estate and construction needs. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app weekdays 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Hi, it's Alberto Montero. We got a great selection of vehicles in and out of here on a daily basis. We offer financing, All Carfaxes are online, and all our vehicles are serviced and inspected before sale. Best selection and prices in all of the New Orleans metro area. Come visit us today at 1512 North Causeway in the heart of Metairie. Come check us out at MonteroMotors.com.
Montero Motors, a proud sponsor of Inside the Trenches, ESPN New Orleans.
Hello, I'm Shelton Jordan with Lamar Crescent City Ford. If you are in need of a commercial vehicle, I'm here to help. From F-150s to Super Duty trucks or chassis, to cargo vans, passenger vans, or if you're in need of a vehicle to be upfitted, we can build it especially for you. Or if you're looking for a truck or SUV, I can also help you at Lamar Ford Store in Kenner. Feel free to call me at 504-734-3579 and ask for Shelton. Lamar Crescent City Ford is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
In New Orleans, football is more than a game. It's a way of life. And just like our offensive line, we protect what matters most. With the big game in New Orleans at Elliott Security Solutions, we don't just protect, we lead. And now, we're hiring the best to join our team. Call 504-392-4424 or visit ElliottSecuritySolutions.com. Elliott Security is a proud partner of Inside the Trenches on ESPN New Orleans.
Step Construction is here for you with a brand new offer. We now provide affordable storage sheds. Stop wasting your money on overpriced storage units and portable containers. Step Construction can provide you with a custom shed that will fit your budget and storage needs. So contact Step Construction today at 504-340-5809 for your own personal quote. Let us help you take the next step at Step Construction.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Are you looking for your dream home? Well, if that's the case, you need to contact Joe Picolo at Godwyn Realty, right here in New Orleans. Joe can put you in your dream home right away. Joe Picolo and the folks over at Godwyn Realty put you in the house that you need. Even if you're looking to invest in some property, they'll do an excellent job with that as well. Contact Joe today at 504-251-8341. Again, that phone number is 504-251-8341. And also contact Joel at joel.godwynrealty.com. No need to dream anymore. Godwyn Realty will put you in the dream house of your reality. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's your boy Marlon, Big Fave Favorite. And when I'm hungry, I like to make my way to Small Sliders, 1635 Barataria Boulevard, Marrero, Louisiana. Simple on purpose. When I tell you their burgers are delicious, have some great sauce on them, I'm telling you, when you're just hungry and just need to grab a quick bite, this is the perfect place for you. Small Sliders. The customer service is nice. It's somewhere you can bring the family, hang out and chill, enjoy the atmosphere. Now I'm a big boy, so when I like to take my Small Sliders, I like to get the biggest smalls. Double patties, bacon, cheese, you name it. Just a delicious burger. And I like to top it off with my favorite, the cookies and cream milkshake. There are 3 delicious flavors: milkshake, chocolate, vanilla, and cookies and cream. Small Sliders. Simple on purpose. Y'all come on and slide through, baby. And let them know that you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with your boy Marlon, Big Fave Favorite. Watch out there now. I want to say thank you to all of our viewers, all of our listeners, everybody that check us out on New Orleans Talk Network, all of y'all who streams us. We appreciate y'all from the bottom of our hearts. And we want to thank our sponsors as well, baby. We right here, Small Sliders Live. Thank you, Small Sliders, for providing us with this spot to do our thing. We want to thank Montero Motors, Crown Car Wash. We want to thank Godwyn Realty. Are you a student athlete looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than Conquer Sports Pros. That's right, Conquer Sports Pros. Our team of experts will get you guys on the right path to your student-athlete journey in life. That's right, we have every position in football you need, and we also help out with other sports. At Conquer Sports Pros, you have everything from a list of consultation, training, and also media training. Yeah, that's right. When you take your career to the next level, play college and hopefully pro, you'll get lots of interviews. Call Conquer Sports Pros today. You can reach them at 504-319-6672 or visit marlonfavorite.com for more information. Hello, somebody.
Hello, somebody. This is Robert Wolf. If you are in need of construction or real estate services, project management services, give us a call at 504-393-2445.
Well, hello. Like Rob just said, hit up Robert Wolf Construction and Real Estate for your real estate and construction needs. And let them know you heard about them on Inside the Trenches with Marlon Favorite on ESPN New Orleans. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. It's the host of Inside the Trenches podcast, Marlon Big Fave Favorite. Did you know Small Sliders had an app? You can go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store right now, download the Small Sliders app in Marrero, and order your food right now. You want to get a number 2? Well, slide through 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. Small Sliders, simple on purpose.
It's that boy Fred, host of FanView Podcast. Tune into the NOTN app weekdays, 3:30 for the FanView Podcast. Go to NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com to watch more episodes of FanView Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and watch.
Hi, it's Alberto Montero. We got a great selection of vehicles in and out of here on a daily basis. We offer financing. All Carfaxes are online, and all our vehicles are serviced and inspected before sale. Best selection and prices in all of the New Orleans metro area. Come visit us today at 1512 North Causeway in the heart of Metairie. Come check us out at MonteroMotors.com.
Montero Motors, a proud sponsor of Inside the Trenches, ESPN New Orleans.
Hello, I'm Shelton Jordan with Lamar Crescent City Ford. If you are in need of a commercial vehicle, I'm here to help. From F-150s to Super Duty trucks or chassis, to cargo vans, passenger vans, or if you're in need of a vehicle to be upfitted, we can build it especially for you. Or if you're looking for a truck or SUV, I can also help you at Lamar Ford Store in Kenner. Feel free to call me at 504-734-3579 and ask for Shelton. Lamar Crescent City Ford is a proud partner of
Well, welcome back, beautiful people. It is Inside the Trenches, and we rolling out here at Small Sliders, baby. That's right, 1635 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero. And shouts out to Tyrone Hughes, man. That was a great interview. We thought Tyrone was going to stick around for like 30 minutes. He actually chopped it up with us for like an hour, man.
Right.
And gave us
he had a lot to get off his chest.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Man, CL, I'm glad he shared those high school stories with me because I didn't realize he only had one like solid year at St. Augustine. You know, that led to him having an excellent career at Nebraska and Saints Hall of Famer. So shouts out to Tyrone Hughes, baby. Definitely. Yes, indeed. Well, for our last segment here, we're going to relive these hoop dreams, baby. We got to go to the NBA. Let's enjoy a little bit of NBA, and I wish we could do a little more enjoying here in the city of New Orleans. You know, right now, they're playing the Raptors. If y'all just tuning into the show or if y'all catch us a couple of days from now, we can't give you the full Raptors preview. Post game because the game's currently going on as we're recording.
Right.
But CL, what we can do is
down by 8.
Yeah, right now they're down by 8. CL has his handy dandy notebook out, so he's gonna definitely be giving us some updates I'm just looking at the live thing, but before we really dive into this Raptors game, the Pels started off the season very sucky, right? And then for about 4 games, they started to get that rhythm. I mean, you look at the Jazz back-to-back wins, being able to beat Chicago, beat Dallas. That was a big deal. But then you kind of went back to some of the things that set them back in the beginning of the season against the Grizzlies, right? In that game, Murray was able to have 26 points. And if I'm not mistaken, he missed the last game. I mean, this is the thing, CL, and I know you go to a lot of the Pels games. When you look at this matchup against Memphis and the missed opportunities, what do you see, I guess, consistently the issue with the Pels?
Injuries.
Yeah.
Because even when we get guys back, say Zion might come back for 1 game and then be out again sick for another game, we have no continuity. Our starting 5 has probably not played with each other collectively 20 games, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we're almost to the mid mark in the NBA season, a la All-Star weekend, and we haven't had health enough to get a rhythm, get some kind of continuity. So in reality, even when a player like a Zion comes back, we're still off kilter because we haven't. Clearly, there's no practice time, and we haven't had a chance to gel on the court because there's still minute restrictions on Zion. There's still, we're still, feeling, up and down about what he can bring to the team when he is there. But obviously, we know what he brings to the team when he's not there. And not to put it all on Zion because we haven't seen B.I. in a minute.
B.I., I mean, you look at – I think the reason it's so much emphasis on Zion is because the expectation level is just so high, right? And you said something about time rested. I think what it's like 4 minutes. They play him and then sit him another 8-9 minutes.
As soon as he get a rhythm.
and that's just not a winning formula. Y'all hit us up. He's CL _NOLA on Instagram. I'm Big Fave 504. What's the plan for the Pels, right? I mean, obviously, like CL said, we're approaching All-Star Weekend coming up here soon. What is that, right between the Super Bowl?
February 15th, February 14th.
Right.
The weekend after Super Bowl.
And it's in Vegas? Where is it? No,
no, it's in San Francisco.
You going? The Bay Area, I mean, tell me what you got. You know what I'm saying? E40. What's up? You might could catch a, I don't know.
Shouts out to the Bay Area.
Yeah,
we'll let the sponsors decide if I'll be in the building or not. But
there you go. Good answer.
we know that we don't really have an all-star on this year's team.
Yeah.
And you can't make you really can make the all-star team on the bench, but in today's game, they try not to let you make the all-star team on the bench. Pelicans are just dealing with the same thing the Saints dealing with, just literally snake bitten with injuries, can't get any continuity, and it's about next year.
It's all about next year and how they're going to structure the team. Because if you look across the NBA, look at the Lakers. The Lakers had a lot of improvement. Yeah. They played Golden State a few days ago and just really dominated, right? AD is playing up to speed. He still didn't take New Orleans yet, but he is playing up to speed out there at L.A.
And even AD is healthy now. So that just goes to show you how snake-bitten we are. The fact that now AD is primarily healthy all the time, it's unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, it's the snake bites of injuries here in New Orleans has really been unmatched. I mean, I think if you probably put us up against different teams in the NFL, like the Saints – versus the injuries that the Bills face, we probably got them. I mean, you look at the NBA, who has the most injuries, Memphis or New Orleans? It's probably New Orleans. It's just that we just can't get it right. Let's look around the NBA for a second. Right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the #1 team in the East, followed by Boston, New York Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana at 5, and at 6 you got Detroit. And then when you go on to the West, what's your boy name? SG?
Oh, SGA.
SGA, baby. They number one over there. They're 37-8.
But a surprising number 2.
With H-Town, Houston.
H-Town.
Yeah. I mean, I based off of last year, Houston was like between 5, 6, 7
in the West.
Right.
That's big. Shouts out to Coach Idakwa, coming over from Boston, obviously dealing with that situation, but he had a lot of young guns in Houston, got them all going, trending in the right direction, and he made the point not to bring James Harden back to mess with that young nucleus, and now the Houston Rockets are the second team in the West.
Right. And then you got Memphis at 3. You have Denver at 4. Surprisingly, like you said, I thought they would have been in that 2 spot. LA at 5 was that they're starting to trend up, and then the Clippers at 6. So that's just the standings of the NBA, and it's just disheartening to see the Pels second to last right now with only 12 wins on the season. So
most talented team with the least amount of wins.
Yeah, that's just
that's not the genre that you want to survive in. Already being a not too successful franchise as far as basketball goes. Most talented team with the most injuries.
When you look at, I guess, what's next, right, for the Pels, you talk about the injuries.
I tell you what's next.
You start to review, most of their performances over the past, let's say, couple of weeks. You could say, Trey Murphy, he missed the last game. They're just really trying to find their way. Now you say you was thinking about, you got an idea what they can.
Oh, well, it was Trey B.I. Trey B.I. before the break, or after the break, during the break, whatever.
All right, what you gonna get for B.I.? Because I thought you were gonna say Zion, but I'm like, nah, you can't do that. I thought you were gonna kind of do a knee jerk reaction.
I can't,
yeah, because
you know how they be in my DM with all that.
Because you'll regret that.
Yeah,
I think you'll
because he'll go somewhere and get healthy and then
ball out. And then
I think the writing's on the wall with the situation with B.I., him wanting the max for this year. We declining to give him the max. He played a few games. I think he's missed the last 12 games. I think we're thinking about just keeping him out until the trade deadline and obviously trading for somebody. I don't know per player to trade for him, but it has to be a big. We have to bring a big over if we're going to let B.I. go.
Yeah, because we got a young team right now. You look at Revis, you look at Tice. I mean, those guys are going to be good NBA players. Yeah. But kind of like the Saints, we do need to start looking at bringing in some players that has the experience. Like I thought bringing in my boy from Atlanta.
Oh, I wish.
Right. I thought that would have been I can't think his name right.
Murray,
yeah. Murray.
And it is a good fit, but it's a good fit if they can play together. Remember, Murray played one game and broke his hand.
Right.
And missed the next 2 months. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Zion misses 2 months. B.I. done missed 15 games. We started off the season without Trey Murphy after giving him a $100 million contract.
Definitely
like,
$100 million.
I can go on. Alvarado was out hurt. I mean, I can go on and on about these injuries. And I personally said I didn't see the coach making it through January. Surprisingly, they're letting him hang his hat on these injuries, and it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, I don't want Coach to be fired, but to constantly do the same thing and expect a different outcome is the definition of an insanity.
I mean, see, you made another good point about just like the production of this team not really having all-stars on it. I'm looking at offensive leaders in the NBA. You have SGA, you have Giannis, you have Joker, you have he got his brother balling LaMelo.
Household name.
LaMelo probably like, what is my brother? Hey, that's a little record.
You get to the bag.
Yeah. KD in points, right? And then you go to assists. Trae Young, Joker, Cunningham, LeBron James, right? Haldenburton, right? Then you go to blocks. Wembanyama, the young rookie that San Antonio got. San Antonio ain't a top team, but They're in the AD
14th
block.
in the West.
Tyler Hero, 3 points made. He's 4th on the list. Steph Curry, of course, won. I hadn't named the Pelican yet. You see what I'm doing?
It ain't in the ear and the eye shot on there. There's 5, 6 players on there, and ain't a Pelican nowhere around there.
That's a big problem. That, to me, when you look at the grand scheme of things, I mean, even the moves made, like for New York to bring over Karl Anthony Towns.
Big cat. That was huge.
Come on now, rebounds. He's 2nd in the league. Like, these are the type of moves the Pels are going to have to make this offseason
for the Celtics
to get in the conversation.
For the Celtics to know that they had to sign Brown and Tatum and get them in house, but still have the wherewithal to sign Drew Holiday to a contract and not let him leave. I just don't understand where the philosophy meets the reality in New Orleans. I have to sit through these games. I have to sit through the phone calls in the morning. I have to sit through, the meetings about, why this and why that. The question is, why? The ultimate question is why. Why are we so down and trodden now? Do we need to blow everything up? Do we actually need to sell the team? I don't want to go there. But, big brother Tyrone from the Ninth Wall's greatest. He come in. He's telling y'all the truth. I got to tell y'all the truth. We need to blow everything up in New Orleans and start from the top.
Yeah, I do expect in the year 2025, like, looking at this NFL draft, we're going to talk draft here in a minute as we're wrapping the show up. Got about another 7 minutes. Here's 8:23. I don't know what time it is when you listen to this, but I'm going to just shake your hand from where we at right now and whenever you check it out. But, I mean, CL made a good point. And right now, the Pels are winning. It's the end of the third quarter, 75-74 against
the Raptors.
The Drizzy Drakers.
Oh,
right
God.
now. So, and what do you know? Murray has 5 assists. Zion has 22 points, 6 rebounds. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, he's a baller.
Hey, balling.
But he only plays 20% of the season.
That's the conversation, and that's why I thought you were going to say, but you said B.I. You said they got to bust a move on B.I. All right, so CL, let's have a conversation about Super Bowls because we got Super Bowl coming up here in 2 weeks. We got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Before I get into Super Bowl memories and we talk a little draft here the last couple minutes, who do you expect to win this Super Bowl? How and why?
Oh, I would love to tell you that. I expect the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game because at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles offensively are explosive by the running game. I personally, if I was Spags, I would put 8 in the box, and I would challenge Jalen Hurts to beat me with his arm. Because clearly they could beat you with their legs. I already told you earlier today, it's a two-headed monster running game in Philly. If you stop the run and make Jalen beat you with his arm, I think you have a chance. And, of course, you got that light-skinned dude, 15. He got a rabbit foot in his pocket. He got the refs in his pocket. I mean,
he definitely got the refs in his pocket.
But beside all that, schematically, I expect Spags to put 8 in the box and then blitz on third down. He's a big blitzer on third down. I don't think Hurst can beat Kansas City with his arm, and that's what's going to have to happen because it's a number one rule in all of sports. You don't let their best player beat you. And Saquon, he's looking at an 8-man box. If I was a Spag.
This is how I'm looking at it. All right, for all intents and purposes, I think Washington was missing Payne. They were missing a player.
D-tackle, 94.
Yeah, that hurt them up front a lot. They were losing contain a lot of times on those outside runs.
Right.
Now they did get one holding call.
Yeah, B-Wags fell down. OG Bobby Wagner fell down on that first Saquon run for 60.
But I'm not doubting Saquon's running game in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that Chris Jones can't stretch out his arms and make a tackle but Saquon was breaking some tackles in this game. Bobby Wagner is still a servable linebacker.
Oh, for sure.
He got held too. So, I mean, that was something that I paid attention to. But I say all that CL to say I think this is going to be a good matchup. I don't think – because these are two teams, and I got to bring the Saints in here.
Come on.
The Saints play both of these teams tight.
Oh, for sure.
lost by a hair at both games.
Yes,
now
sir.
these two teams are
I was
playing against
there.
each other, right? Now these two teams are going head to head with each other. I'm not picking a winner when I do my bets. I'm just going to bet on props.
Okay.
Because I really don't. Will Kansas City three-peat, right? Or will Philly, Coach Nick, take like Ryan Day did, all his naysayers, hey, look what I told you I can do.
I like a tie. We could just get tie and start the next year.
Okay.
Start free agency.
I just hope the Saints are in the playoffs next year.
Well, hope is a good thing to have.
I just hope that they're in the playoffs next year.
But the reality of the situation is,
man,
we might need a head coach first.
Definitely the head coach. Like I said, this is Tyrone I'm talking about. We're just on the show. I said, hey, man, I know we need a head coach. Could you think of other 3 areas of the team where we need help at? Well, the head coach, it's automatic.
Right.
Even though he knew.
Right, because it starts from the top, my people. The philosophy, the assistants, the people that he want to keep, the people that he don't want to keep. Does it really matter if we keep Rizzy or not? He's a special teams coach. Shouts out to Coach Rizzy. We love Rizzy.
Right.
But that's why Kubiak took a job in Seattle. That's why Dennis Allen took a job in Chicago. Because at the end of the day, they are not tied into the Saints, and they don't know who. We don't know who the new head coach is. They don't know who the new head coach is. They have to take coaching opportunities themselves. And I'm wondering, has the New Orleans Saints waited so long to the fact that we're almost forced to go with Rizzy because the reality of the situation is the best candidates are already gone.
I know I said we wanted to briefly talk about the draft.
Yeah, come
on.
on.
I was going to go around the league or look at the top 5 players. But I'm just seriously thinking, can the Saints possibly get an Emory Jones from LSU at offensive line?
If you're looking at him as the second best tackle after Will Campbell at the 9th spot, I don't. I'm sorry, 10th spot. I keep saying.
I do know a lot of this has to do with free agency. I hope that I like the sound of T. Higgins.
Oh God!
Because
wish list,
and I'm not gonna go into certain area. The quarterback has to be somewhere in this top 3 list. Now we can go offensive lineman because that's an area of need. And then we could talk free agency wide receiver. That's a serious because we don't have a number 1. We don't have a quarterback, a serviceable quarterback outside of Derek Carr.
Well, and this is the thing. The only way you're gonna get a quarterback is if you get rid of one. So maybe the rumors may be true that the New York Giants are interested in Derek Carr. I don't believe that. But we would have to trade away Derek Carr to actually bring another quarterback in. And then it's not about getting rid of him. It's about who you bringing in. Because you're not getting Shador. You're not getting Cam. You're not getting Monroe from Alabama. Beck went back to school. Who's this mystery quarterback? You do better hollering with Rat-a-tat.
Nah, I'm going to tell you another thing. Yeah, I like the idea.
Yeah, build around Rat-a-tat.
And I want to say that I forgot about Rat. We do have a 3rd quarterback, a potential 2 quarterback.
Right.
Outside of Derek Carr.
Well, let's see if you got 2, you don't got 1.
What?
I'm sorry, brother.
No, unfortunately, that's true. But I just don't have confidence in what Derek Carr can do, healthy or not healthy. I think Rat has potential. Do we need to approach this quarterback situation like the wide receiver situation? And like you heard Tyrone say,
yeah, I'm gonna say it like
Justin Fields. You remember that? You know,
I did, but I also concur with T with the simple fact that when the offensive line was solid, Derek Carr played solid.
Okay.
Even with the no number 1, tight end position didn't really show up. Running backs did okay. But the first 2 weeks, we looked like the best team in football.
All right.
Because the offensive line was solid. McCoy, Patrick, Fruaga, Ruiz, Penny. When we had those boys playing together, Derek Carr played good football.
You did hit T say, all right, Ruiz, you go ahead.
Yeah, get rid of it because of his contract. You know, I sent you that.
Contract,
that contract is not done until 27. It's big money. I would get rid of Ruiz, and that's what he's saying. At the 10th position, we could get the best offensive guard coming out of college at 10.
So it's safe to say New Orleans can go ahead and get take that first round pick and just go get the best guard.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that because you have Derek Carr. You're married to him regardless. Improve the offensive line like CL used to say last year. I hear him say, fortify the offensive line.
Yeah.
You're not listening to me. Yeah, so now that they finally fortified, I will fortify in free agency. I will fortify in the draft first pick. I would look at receiver free agency. I would look at, like T said, just spending a whole bunch of money on the defensive line.
Right.
Man, we done spent enough time here at Small Sliders, and it looked like it's time for us to wrap up.
Yeah, you're right.
Before I wrap up, I cannot do that without thanking the beautiful people at Small Sliders, like all these wonderful folks here making these delicious burgers for us. CL about to go put his order in.
Y'all don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and get me 2 biggies, no bread tonight, you know what I'm saying? I want you to eat the beef tonight, you know what I'm talking about? With a little bit of fries. All right, shouts out to, we got Shad in the building, showing some love. Shouts out to Tarek on the 1s and 2s along with Keelan. And a big shout out to all of our sponsors, man. Without y'all, the show really don't go. Big ups to Elliott Security Solutions. Look, if you're looking for a gig, you need your job, you can hit up Elliott Security and for the Super Bowl or just in general. Call 504-392-4424. Unarmed, armed guards, you have experience, you don't. Excellent training staff over there. Elliott Security, a proud sponsor inside the trenches. Lamarck Ford, Crescent City, all my contractors out there, man. Y'all go ahead and hit my man up, Shelton Jordan. He's the fleet manager over there. You can reach him at 504-734-3579. Montero Motors, baby. You need a great used car deal? Head on over to 1512 North Causeway Boulevard, right there in Metro, Louisiana. You can check out the inventory right now on MonteroMotors.com. Pico. I said Pico. I'm
Joe.
hungry. Joe Picolo. Sorry, Joe. I had some Mexican the other day. Okay, Picolo, Ramos, and Ramos Real Estate. Y'all visit them at 1943 Soapy Right Place. Soapy Right Place, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Garden District.
That's right, man. Nice houses over there. Again, man, just thank you to all our sponsors. Hey, we're going to be back Monday, February. It's going to be February 3rd. So, look, check this out. I forgot to let y'all know. We're going to power up. I don't like these empty seats out here. I mean, we had a couple people out here passing by.
Well, you know that weather.
Yeah, I know that, but we like to get it packed out here. So what we're going to do the next couple of months, we're going to record in the studio 3 days out of the month, and then we're going to take 1 day, come out here. So we're planning on doing, like, I think that Monday, the 15th or whatever, that second Monday or third Monday.
First Monday after Super Bowl.
The first Monday after Super Bowl, which is technically the third Monday, right? Whatever. That's the one we're going to be back here at Small Sliders. So I want y'all to bring a friend. First 5 people come out here. Small Sliders on me, baby. Yeah, Rick is going to come out my checkbook,
and
baby.
a lemonade on me, baby.
Hey, look at that. CL, that's his favorite, right? So, yes, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shouts out to Tyrone Hughes. Saints Hall of Fame.
Night Wall.
Coming down.
Oh, yeah.
Have a great conversation. I can't wait to rewatch that as well. And thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all be blessed. It's Inside the Trenches, baby. Right here at Small Sliders. Peace.